to meet
Why are
you.
you
I'm
even here?
Natasha.
You're
and I'm
dead.
a build doctor.
Yo! Welcome to this Wanderer Tips video. This is not a build guide, but instead, I'll be going over several gameplay changes that make you do more damage, fly farther, and explore faster. Wanderer is a character with a lot of depth, and I haven't seen many people talk about the intricacies of his kit. These tricks are momentum transfer, charge attack timing, extra particle generation, dash cancels, ascending for max horizontal distance, and holding space at the beginning for max vertical distance. These tips work for C0, R0 Wanderer, but can also be used with higher investment as well. I highly recommend sticking around for the entire video because there's some cool tricks I bet you might not know about. If Wanderer is still sprinting when his skill ends, he loses all of his momentum and falls straight down. However, if you just hold a direction and don't sprint, Wanderer keeps all of his momentum when his skill ends. To take advantage of this, sprint normally, but start dashing when his stamina bar is low. You can either let the skill expire automatically, or you can stop dashing and recast the skill to end it early. This makes a larger difference the higher up you are from the ground. What's the point of doing this trick when you can just use your glider? It's because running is faster than gliding. This trick lets you get to the ground faster while also moving forwards. Charge attack spamming is the go-to playstyle for C0R0 Wanderer. It's significantly better than normal attacks against most AoE content. You can charge attack 14 times in a single skill. One of the reasons why you might not be getting 14 charge attacks is due to your initial charge attack timing. If you don't get your first charge attack off fast enough, it's impossible to fit the other 13 charge attacks into the rest of your skill. The way I learned the timing is to angle your camera to the side. You don't have to do this when you're in combat, but it's a good way to visualize the timing when you're practicing it. When Wanderer casts his skill, he raises his hands to the top of his head. You want to input the charge attack right when he starts to lower his hands from the top of his head. Here it is from the side. This trick lets you generate one extra animo particle. Wanderer generates one animo particle after hitting an enemy when he's flying, but the particle generation has a cooldown of 2 seconds. Normally, this results in 4 particles over 10 seconds. However, if you normal attack and use your skill before the wind blade hits the enemy, it generates an extra particle during your rotation. To activate the skill before your attack hits, you have to stand farther back from the enemy. This can prevent you from infusing your elemental skill with pyro, which is not worth the sacrifice. Infusing your elemental skill with pyro is more important than the extra particle. However, with proper spacing, you can get both. This tip is very useful for Farazan teams due to her super high energy requirements.
How amusing. The wind rises.
Dash cancelling makes Wanderer's strong single target damage even stronger. I know I mentioned earlier that charge attacks are his go-to playstyle, but even at C0 R0, there are some reasons to use his normal attacks. His normals do more single target damage than charge attacks, especially with dash cancels. They also do not ungroup enemies, unlike his charge attacks pre-C6 Farazan. They also break shields faster in combination with his Ascension 4 passive, but you've got other problems if you're trying to use Wanderer as a shield breaker. Using normal attacks also increases his synergy with Thoma, which is usually a damage upgrade over Zhongli because he generates pyro energy to Bennett, gives pyro resonance, and boosts Wanderer's damage with his C6. Wanderer is also much more mobile since he gets his Ascension 4 passive faster, which is very helpful against enemies that attack a lot. The most important part of Wanderer's Ascension 4, Gales of Reverie, is the free dash that it provides. You can use this free dash to cancel the endlog of any of his normal attacks, but it is most effective on his third normal attack, and okay on his second normal attack. This Ascension passive is RNG, but I'll explain how to work around it later. Cancelling his first normal attack is somewhat of a DPS loss because the first normal attack has really low end lag. However, dodging any attack to prevent Wanderer from getting knocked back is better than trying to squeeze out a tiny bit of extra damage due to how much stamina you lose when getting hit. When you have more attack speed, from Desert Pavilion Chronicle, Yunjin C6, Wanderer C1, or his signature weapon, dash cancelling becomes a DPS loss, and you're better off using it for only dodging or shield breaking. The RNG element of Wanderer's Ascension 4 is not as bad as it seems. you have a 16% chance to get the free dash on your first hit, and then you gain an extra 12% chance for each hit that fails to trigger the passive. Using this passive optimally is what makes the normal attack playstyle really fun. If you get the free dash early in your normal attack combo, try to use it on your third normal attack, or the second normal attack on your next combo. If you do 4 normal attacks and you have not received the free dash yet, you can be fairly confident that you will receive the free dash on your next attack, or the attack after. Knowing this, you can prepare to dash cancel your next attack as soon as you see the passive activate. If you want to gamble, you can dash early and bet that you'll receive the passive before it happens. The timing is a bit rough, but it's worth the style points. Ascending at the end of your stamina bar lets you travel the max horizontal distance without touching the ground. It's kinda niche, but it comes in handy sometimes, like for cheesing exploration. Ascending at the end also works really well with the red feather fan. The red feather fan becomes way more valuable if you have extra height, however, going straight up and gliding is not better than going horizontally and then ascending. When you hold jump during Wanderer's skill, he consumes a chunk of stamina, and then after a short amount of time, he drains stamina at a fast rate. To ascend as high as possible, you want to hold jump after activating your skill, and then let go of jump right before he begins to drain stamina. Then, tap jump until you run out of stamina. Credits to an odd medium 6288 from the KQM library for this tip. Here's a bonus tip. I know I said this wouldn't be a build guide, but I felt like this was important enough to mention. Wanderer hyper teams get a lot of attack percent from Bennett Burst, Pyro Resonance, Noblesse 4-piece, Shimenawa 2-piece, Pyro Infusion, and Tenacity of the Middle Deck. They also get a lot of animo damage percent from Farazan Burst, Toma C6, Shimenawa 4-piece, or Desert Pavilion 4-piece. Woodsith also gives a huge boost to either of these stats. Therefore, the difference between attack percent goblet and animo damage goblet is a lot smaller compared to most traditional DPS characters, to the point that attack percent goblet can be better if it has a lot more crit stats. For me, I use an attack percent goblet, which is the best for my account because it has 3 more crit substats than my best animo damage goblet, and it's also on-set. There's this commission here that I'm going to use as a distance marker, and I'm going to use this corner right here to test how far he goes with the momentum transfer and without the momentum transfer. So here's a test to see if gliding is faster than running, and I already know that running is faster, because Venti's a liar. And I'm just going to jump and see how long it takes me to get to an area. I'm going to mark it, and then I'm going to run to it and see if that goes faster. And to prove it even further, I'll even go behind the arch just to really make sure. I did some testing with a longer run on flat ground, comparing the momentum transfer and the last minute dash. They're basically the same thing, but the last minute dash is more difficult. Basically, use the momentum transfer for everything as long as the ground is not sloped upwards. The last minute dash is better for inclines. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed and learned something new from the video. Like I said before, I'm new to the whole voicing YouTube video stuff, and I'm sorry if I sound super dead inside. I promise I'm not always like this. Let me know in the comments if you find stuff in the video that I should improve on. Have a great day!